you would.
Got it.
Make it go red.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Good job. Got it.
Red is on, right?
Correct.
Gotcha.
Am I on or off? Great.
You're on camera as well.
You're also on camera.
Like to bang this thing. We will call to order our April 25th, 2018 City of McHenry Economic Development Commission meeting. Would everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Dorothy, would you please take roll call?
Commissioner Bianda.
Here.
Commissioner Jessup.
Here.
Commissioner Marachek.
Here.
Commissioner Sturworth.
Here.
And all others are absent. Oh, Mayor Jett.
I'm here.
All right, the first item on our agenda is the review and approval of the minutes from our March 28th, 2018 meeting. Did everybody receive the minutes and have a chance to review them? Were there any changes or modifications that we need to discuss?
One minor thing, I don't know how much of a big deal it is or not, old business, section B, Chamber of Commerce. That was not me.
I caught that. That was
who's got-
me.
Whose chamber, is that you?
Yeah.
Okay. So, just for the record, if we wanna
Okay.
correct that.
Page 4.
How do we do that?
So, you say, with that amendment, can I have a motion for approval?
All right, thank you very much. With that amendment, can I please have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion with the amendment to change 4B for approval.
Can I have a second, please?
I'll second that.
Dorothy, can we have a vote? Please.
Commissioner Bianda.
Yes.
Jessup.
Yes.
Marachek.
Yes.
Sturworth.
Yes.
Jett.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you very much. Next on our agenda is public input. Is there anyone in attendance who would like to come up and address the commission, an item that is not on the agenda? Take that as a no. Guess we can move on. The next on the agenda is a review of the Zegster program. I understand, Dorothy, you're gonna help walk us through this agenda item, please?
Yes. Because we had a little difficulty getting sponsors, enough sponsors for 5 bike stations, we contacted Zegster and Visit McHenry County, and we are asked Visit McHenry County if they would be interested in implementing the program under their, I don't know what the word to use.
Umbrella organization.
Umbrella organization. So that it would be opened up countywide to make it happen sooner rather than later. We were not gonna get enough sponsors to do it in the spring, and we truthfully weren't sure if we could get enough sponsors all along right away. And Visit McHenry County had a meeting, brought it to vote, and they agreed to let them go ahead and pursue it. So I met this week with the McHenry County Department of Transportation and McHenry County and Jackie from Visit McHenry County, and we implemented a plan and a map of it's, they're going to like offer it to all cities in McHenry County. Doing it through their umbrella, they probably only need to get 5 to 7 stations countywide, which will make it happen. And then once it's happening and in place, hopefully we'll get more sponsors. So it's gonna go out to list through the chambers and the college and village presidents or mayors, McCog, a few other place is gonna go to the conservation district, and they're gonna oversee it with our help as far as we are still planning on sponsoring at least one station, maybe more if we can get sponsorship from other companies as well. But it would be a master plan for the county. And this is also looked at through, I'm on a group called Active Communities Work Group for the county, which is in conjunction with the Conservation District and the hospitals, the college, all municipalities. And it's part of what they're implementing into their goals as well. And the county in their transportation plan. So now they're in the process of looking for grants and things like that to help, make it easier for everybody. But it is still continuing. It's just gonna go under the umbrella of Visit McHenry County, the Tourism Bureau, and hopefully with a rollout of next spring rather than this year.
Does everybody know what the Extra program even is? I mean, I'm definitely biased on what it is, but does the rest of the group know what it even is?
Okay,
I thought we brought it up, but I was gonna ask that question too. Why don't you just give a brief overview of it?
Zagster is a bike sharing program,
Oh.
like Divvy.
Like
Similar
Divvy.
to Divvy is the
Divvy.
name everybody knows here, but Zagster is a little more user friendly, uses an app, has lighter bikes. It's throughout the county. There are other tourism bureaus. Kankakee County is starting a program, and I believe, I wanna say it's Joliet is the other one that is doing it under the county, the tourism
Peoria.
bureau. Peoria, that's the other one, Peoria. They're present in this area. It's all done through an app, the trails, there's advertising done on the bikes, so the sponsors pay a certain amount of money, for us, a certain amount of money, agreeing to a 2-year contract, so much per year to sponsor a station. A station has to have 5 bikes. But the bikes they don't have to be brought back to the same rack that they were taken from, it's a little easier than Divvy. And they use local bike shops for the repair and the maintenance. They contract with them, they sign maintenance agreements with Zagster, and work with them on other things too, so. Does that help?
Does. I'll add to that, being a bike shop owner, I was a little nervous on the approach or how it would be good or bad for that matter, and I met with, McHenry did a good job. They brought Zagster in town and partnered them up with a lot of different organizations trying to achieve those sponsorships, paired them with me and the other bike shop in town just to have those conversations, and it is an attractive program, and it ultimately helps the whole community. Kind of what this group's focus is gives us another tool why McHenry would be a great place to have, where you have, if you don't own that bicycle, you can go grab one, ride it for the afternoon, and then for me, selfishly, it may promote people to ride more and go purchase one even. So it was a nice presentation, and looks like it'd be a good program for our area.
Sounds like a great opportunity to connect the community.
Correct. We are working, in planning and zoning, we're working on our comprehensive plan, and we're proposing a McHenry loop, which will be walking and biking path, but it would be great for that as well.
So in regards to that, obviously, like you're downtown Chicago, and people use those for commuting, getting back and forth to work and stuff. And Chicago has bike lanes everywhere. Is that something that we would consider as well, or are we looking at this more as a recreational use?
I would, go ahead, Doug, did you wanna say something?
Well, I was just gonna say, so we worked with Zagster to kind of strategically place our stations, and we proposed one in the business park. There's no sidewalks in the business park, so it was more of a recreational, one side kind of downtown by Vets Park, by Miller Point, one by Pearson Park. So we were trying to take advantage of connections, the Prairie Trail. I don't think you're gonna see your die-hard bike people using this program. I mean, they're gonna have nicer bikes.
Their own equipment.
They're gonna have their own equipment, they're not gonna be, this is more for family, recreational, people to go for a bike ride. And this is really another kind of benefit is, you get the sponsorship, but you really try to make it as low cost to the user as possible. So it's really another way for people to experience your community, to keep them in your community, to get them to just see different things within your community from another perspective, from the bike perspective.
To add on to that a little bit, to answer your question a little bit on the streets and that, there are a lot of limitations, I think, just driven by rules of the road and that, but one of the groups that met with Zagster was McHenry County Bicycle Advocates. They are literally that, they advocate, and done a lot in First Lake and other neighboring communities of even just getting signage put up to make awareness happen. So I think some of that could even be trickled in, maybe not some crazy bike lanes, and again, that's more restrictive of just amount of space on some of the roads, but they're part of that organization too, so I think they would help bring some of that safety to the table.
Good.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for that update. Are there any suggestions on how the council could help support this?
How the council could help support it?
How could we,
Or
how could we
the-
as a group help?
Help talk
With the
to,
commission,
or
I'm
maybe talk it up throughout the community and in your businesses, talk to other businesses and see if, you can get any businesses interested in sponsoring a station, even as a group. Our original thought was one company per station, but we found out since through Zagster that, you could actually have 4 companies have an agreement for one bike station, and then it's lesser amounts of money per company that have to be allotted or budgeted for the station. There would have to be, but it can be done that way.
We did a lot of Dorothy and I did a lot of the legwork. I mean, we've been working on this probably over a year. So, Dorothy's been to a lot of active communities, so there's a lot of county organizations that are very familiar with this program because of our efforts. So I would say education
Sure.
for people, but, businesses that wanna give back, 5 bikes is like $9,000 a year. It's a chunk of change, there's no doubt about it. But there's a benefit. If you have bikes up and down the Prairie Path, it's just another way to experience the county. And, different businesses that are health related may wanna give back in different ways. So it's just making people aware that it's out there.
So when you say $9,000 a year, that's the cost to have those bikes and the stations?
And liability, it includes everything from A to Z for the station. Liability insurance, the bikes, the station, the maintenance, everything for 5 bikes, everything's included.
And then for the sponsor opportunity, is that on the bikes and at the stations, or?
It's
just
on the
stations?
bikes, at the stations, online, on the app.
On the app,
There's
everywhere.
correlations between the people who ride the bikes and increases in business sales. There's all sorts of statistics of where these bikes are used and how businesses see an increase in sales and stuff like that. We have handouts that we can provide more information on those types of things as well. So there is a correlation to businesses. You're not gonna see a boom to businesses in the community, but there is a correlation
Sure.
to business.
If somebody's interested, where do we want to point them to? Visit McHenry County, to you?
At this point, to visit McHenry County. You can have them, if they can't get a hold of, you can certainly have them talk to Doug or we can
Yeah.
explain it to them, but Visit McHenry County needs to know
Okay.
who's interested now, so they would be the first point of contact.
And they're in the explore, this is kind of the phase where they're deciding whether they can make a run of this. So it's either they make a run at it or it's not gonna go anywhere, so, you know, we're trying to keep this going.
So the visit McHenryCounty.com, is that their website? Do we know?
I'm not positive, we can
Okay.
get that for you. They
Yeah.
are gonna make a presentation at McCog and at the McHenry County Council of Mayors, at the chambers, and ask for their list to send out to
McHenryCounty.org.
different organizations.
Visit McHenryCounty.com.
It is that.
Oh, it is that, okay. But you could certainly refer them to us and we'll get them to
Yep,
the right
we'll get them
people.
to them if,
Yep.
you know, if you don't have time or just find it easier, shoot us an email and we'll get it to Jackie at Visit McHenry County.
And would you be able to give me the information on those two meetings where they're gonna present at, so that I can pass that along to the Downtown Business Association? I think those.
I do not, do you
just
know the
like
dates of
McCog and-
McCog, is that tonight? Is that the
Their
meeting?
annual meetings tonight.
Okay, so they're gonna talk about it. What they're gonna do is they're gonna get the member list from McCog and from the Council of Mayors. And they're gonna send out a blast about it. I think the tagline is, bike sharing is coming to McHenry County, be a part of it. That's kind of gonna be one of their, you know, kind of their tagline, but they're gonna make a quick update at both of those places and try to get, contact information for, MCC, McHenry County Conservation District, the park districts, the big park districts that are run as park districts, like Crystal Lake, Huntley, and Cary, and the chamber list, so that when they do it, they have to meet with the cities first to find out who's interested. But then they can contact the chamber. If the city's not interested, but a chamber is wanting to make an agreement, that's fine too, so they are gonna contact the chambers as well. That was just a preliminary meeting, you know, the thought process, but that's what the thought process is at this step.
Great, thank you very much for that discussion. Let's transition to the 2018 Manufacturing Trade and Industry Expo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to point out to everybody, I given you the poster that Carl, the high school did. He also just sent me the letter that goes along with the poster. This is the 3rd annual Manufacturing Trade and Industry Expo. I know Jessup Manufacturing has been a part of it since the first. I know Jets Heating and Air has been a part of it. I know Jets has sponsored it since day one. And continues to sponsor it, which it has grown every year. And I just want to point it out because I just got the letter, and you know, I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but we're really trying to get, you know, parents and students here, you know, to this expo, and to get them in front of these businesses and to see the opportunities. And it's not only the businesses that are there, it's the schools that are there and the opportunities. It's the trades. It's not just the manufacturers. We need trades. There's Jets Heating and Air. There's a lot of trades that are there. There's home builders. There's electricians. There's pipe fitters, plumbers, you name it, and different types of industries. So I just wanted to get that out as soon as possible. And, you know, this could not happen without the partnerships with all the aforementioned. The Rotary Club has done the scholarships, and all the partners on the bottom, the high school, the college, the chamber, McHenry County, EDC, the Workforce Network. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. We, of course, will follow up, you know, in a couple months and get firm commitments, but I just want to bring that to your attention and as early as possible.
Well, thank you very much, and it is indeed a fun event. I know my team looks forward to that every year. Doug, I think you also wanted to touch on the incubator program.
Yes, so I wanted to touch on this incubator EDU. The high school has asked me to be the community champion for their incubator EDU program, which I was honored to do that. which, you know, what that means is, you know, basically just to, you know, just, I guess what it sounds like is champion the program. I went to one training session with Karen Burmeister and the instructor of the incubator program. They're building out the classroom right now, and the program will start in the fall, and then over the summer there'll be a training downtown, which I think I'll go to the I guess it would be the end of this school year's pitch where they do. Does everybody know what incubator EDU is? Yes, okay, so where they do the pitch, so I'll probably go to that just to experience what these students pitch as their product. And I'll probably look to this commission, you know, so if you're interested, you know, there's different roles, and they do have a good set of people who have volunteered, but there's going to be, they're ramping up for a couple of things. One is to do a ribbon cutting in the next couple of months for their actual classroom, for their incubator classroom. And the other would be kind of, you know, to get people to sign on the dotted line for mentors, coaches, and all the different roles. And also they need a advisory board, people who kind of review the different teams and what their products are and stuff like that. So if anybody is interested, I know we have a lot of talent on this commission, you know, please let me know. I want to, you know, get as many people involved as possible, so I just wanted to bring that to your attention as well.
Thank you very much. I think next on our agenda are the committee updates. First one would be the tours. As I mentioned at our last meeting, I've been coordinating with a gentleman named Glenn Starkey, who has done essentially a similar program called, essentially it's called IPT, Industrial Plant Tour in Wakanda. Unfortunately, Glenn is, he's in the middle of a major trade show right now, so he's put me off until the middle part of May. But him and I are scheduled to get together. My intention is to have him walk me through, you know, how he did the creation of the program, as well as, you know, learn from him some of the challenges. They are also planning IPT. They're late May, early June. They have not picked a location yet. As soon as I find out where that is, I will be sure to invite everybody, you know, on the commission if they wanted to experience it and see how this is done in another community. I've already made some preliminary phone calls to a couple of manufacturing businesses in McHenry as well, and broached the idea of them hosting a tour, and the reception has been positive. So it's, you know, my next steps are to really kind of formulate the program and write it, document it, benchmark it with Glenn, who has obviously already done it, and then you know, present it and move forward and try to have something over the summer to be our first, essentially our first, you know, trade or tour type program. Any questions on that? The next would be the video, which I believe is Bobby and Pat.
Nope.
No, that's,
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. Myself, Doug, and Dorothy.
you wanna go ahead?
Yeah. So we've met twice now to talk about what we want to do as far as the message and the audience, and explored a couple of different options. The first was Bobby Bainey brought to our attention that YouTube would actually come out and for like $350 shoot and produce a, what is it, a 30 or so, a 90 second something real short. So after exploring that a little bit, it was decided that that was really not appropriate, and it wasn't really fitting for what we're looking to do, although the budget was really nice.
I did get back to Bobby and ask, clarify what they did.
Right.
It just wasn't, it
So
didn't fit.
Doug and Bobby spoke, and it just wasn't really a fit for what we were looking to do. So we talked, and then I also have reached out to a couple of different people at McHenry County College The director of the, let's see, digital media director, and then also someone that's in charge of some of their marketing programs there. And they both told me, as well as at the high school, McHenry High School, that they all told me that that's just not within their scope. I also thought maybe that the timing of it might have been a little bit of something to do with that, since we're kind of nearing the end of the fall semester, the semester here. So, so in any event, so we exhausted all of those options, and we talked about. Let's see. Visit McHenry County has done something similar. So Doug is going to reach out to them, to his contact, and find out who they've used. We also talked about that we would like to get 3 to maybe 5 different vendors in for some interviews, and so we'd be looking for a creative marketing agency type of vendor that can give us marketing direction, as well as either themselves or contract it out, however they do it. You know, the production of the video and everything that goes involved, that's involved with that. So what we are proposing that we will do is, again, between Doug's contacts, I visit McHenry County, and some that we could come up with on our own, get 3 to 5 vendors that we would vet, and then we would present our findings to the group here, and you know, I'll make a decision on how we want to move forward. So that's kind of where we ended it. Any input or questions on that?
No, I think it's very straightforward, thank you. Last one would be business recognition.
I did see the email from Bobby. She stated that herself and Pat Arnold were going to meet and discuss that in the next week.
Great. Well, let's move on to new business. On the agenda is a visit to Scott Forge, again with Carl.
Yeah, so I had the opportunity to go to Scott Forge. Just kind of, you know, I met a gentleman, and just, you know, said, could we come visit you at Scott Forge? And I asked Carl and if he wanted to go, and went up there. And I guess, you know, it's again hammering on the MTI and the whole, you don't really know until you go type thing. And I don't know how many of you have been to Scott Forge, and it's just a heck of an experience. It's a really fascinating company. Just the culture, but what they do in general is just amazing. I mean, you're talking about tons and tons of metal that they deal with, comes in on rail and forging this metal. It's just crazy. But it was just a great experience, and all the people who work there are owners. And the guy was just explaining how, you know, that mindset was just, it just changed the mindset in everybody, you know, from being an owner to being an employee. You know, I know that sounds kind of obvious, but it was just an amazing experience. If I could just segue into a couple more just new business things real quick. The National Small Business Week, I wasn't quick enough on a draw with the resolution, but it actually is April 29th through May 5th. So I want to make sure I point that out next council meeting, because it came up real quick. It actually starts in April. It's usually first week in May. I just want to, you know, small businesses are defined as 500 employees or less by the Small Business Administration. So it's basically almost every company, with the exception of a few. So it's important. And then the one other thing I wanted to bring up under new business was I know last time we changed the meeting date to the 1 hour. And I know Mayor Jett has a conflict with this particular day. He said every other day works except this day. Which I was wondering if we could possibly look at a different day. Because I think it's important that he's here.
Sorry, and I'll be honest, that's the one day I kinda have a fishing tournament that I'm part of and I forgot.
And I should have known that, I should have known that.
It's kind of one thing that I kinda have to do just to kinda get.
What do you say, the one night, you're talking about the reoccurring?
Not that I catch
Wednesdays,
fish.
or-
Yes,
Not that I
yes,
catch
okay,
fish.
yes,
Not-
yes.
right.
It's almost just boating on Wednesdays, is really what it is.
We
I
can
don't
have
catch
these meetings
fish.
on your boat.
Huh?
We should have these meetings
We
on your
could,
boat.
that would be awesome.
The problem is we have to invite the public.
If you can come, come on.
They gotta move.
But I'd appreciate it if we could consider it. I should have thought of that. I kinda did it on the fly, cause Dorothy, I almost went back and Tina couldn't make it and Dorothy first couldn't make it, so. If
And then I
we,
could.
if we could consider a day, maybe consider a day, and before we like solidify it, because there's 4 people that aren't here.
Right.
We're also gonna have a new member.
Yeah, do you wanna address that, Mayor?
Yeah, so, Eric Jorn, put his house on the market and it sold very quickly, so, he will be, getting off the commission, due to the fact that he's moving out of the city of McHenry. So obviously he's not here, but, Eric, I think, has been a big part and has always been here and been involved. It's sad to see him go, but, we got, Jeff Gubrich, I think I said that right?
Grubich.
From McHenry. We took several applications, and he seemed like the best fit for the EDC. And so he couldn't come here this evening, he's out of town for work, but I will be contacting him along with Doug to discuss what times would work for him. But he's very excited to be part of it, and I know he's been wanting to get involved in the city for some time just to try to be involved, so I think it would be a good fit.
Yeah, it was good. We actually, the mayor put out a call and we got multiple applications, so it was really nice.
So are we talking about changing the entire schedule or just the season? We don't know yet.
Just during fishing season.
So we'll send out an email.
I think once we nail it down, we should just leave it.
Yeah, I think we just stay with the same way
Yeah,
all the way through, right?
yeah.
Just carry it to the
Yeah,
easier.
so changing the entire
So,
schedule.
so we wanna find a reoccurring day of the week.
Yeah, reoccurring
reoccurring
day.
week of the month, and then, alright.
This
So I
is-
did notice doing the last Wednesday, it also creates some issues with the holidays, cause we bumped right up on Thanksgiving and Christmas.
That's
this year.
true,
Yeah,
yeah.
I should have looked at them, but like,
Yeah.
hey, this is what we gotta
I,
change.
but I looked at it right after our meeting, I'm like, wow, 2 of these days, it's like, Christmas Eve we're having a meeting here.
Right?
Just by,
Commitment,
Yeah.
commitment.
just by pure elimination process here, you've got, if we're gonna pull Wednesday off, I don't know that anybody.
Can't do Mondays.
Can't do Mondays, I don't think anybody wants Friday, so we're down to Tuesday or Thursday. I would prefer Tuesday, just given it's earlier in the week, so that's my vote if we're going to one of those two
Yeah,
days.
But Tuesday definitely works better.
Tuesday's fine.
Tuesday's fine with me, it's just I have another commitment at 6 o'clock on Tuesday evenings, but, I mean,
But
as
it
long
should
as.
be fine, we keep it at 1 hour.
Yeah, I
Right.
mean, yeah, that'd be fine with me.
You wanna tentatively, we won't solidify it yet. We'll say Tuesday at 4, and then we'll check with everyone, and then we'll do that. I'll do it, Dorothy's on vacation after this, so.
Like, right after this.
Literally,
Her
right.
stuff's packed, she's ready to.
So what we're
Rock and
proposing
roll.
is possibly shifting to the last Tuesday of every month.
Okay.
Right. So we'll put that out and
And see how that-
check with everybody else, and then,
Okay, thank you, I appreciate
Yeah, I
that.
suppose
And then,
we
if you
should.
don't mind, I'd like to also state that, part of this commission is to have an alderman present. And Alderman Glab, has been to 1 meeting, and since then has not even, sent an email or, contacted me via text or phone to let me know that he would not be coming to these meetings, that he either had a commitment or couldn't attend. So, he will no longer be part of the CDC, and I will be appointing a new alderman or alderwoman as of next Monday.
Okay.
But at this time, it's looking to be Alderman Schaefer, Jeff Schaefer. Be part of it, so. All right?
Great.
That'll be good. That's all.
Perfect. So is there any other new business that we need to discuss?
That's all I had, thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, Doug. Guess jumping into old business, let's talk through the the different foundations and associations and commissions we network with. Is there any updates with the Riverwalk Foundation?
Yes, so the Riverwalk Foundation, we met a week ago, to discuss the finances and to talk about doing a design build, even though there is plans that are done for the Riverwalk heading north on Riverside Drive. The design build aspect would help save about 1/3 of the cost. And due to the fact of the finances, and anyway, we should be looking at saving costs anyway, the design build aspect would be a good opportunity. We contacted, John Smith and I contacted Kunatz, since they do that type of business in general contracting, and he's willing to sit down with us and donate his time to facilitate this and look at how we could save additional costs. The Riverwalk Foundation also received a $370,000 check from the Kunatz family, which is a pledge that they made years ago for $1 million towards the bridge with the family's parents on it. So I think, the Kunatz have been a big part of the community for many years, even prior to me being involved in this. But for them to pay $1 million, it shows commitment to the community, what they thought the Riverwalk could be, and I think it's only right that we try to finish this Riverwalk as soon as possible. Also with the Riverwalk Foundation, we're looking to dredge the creek that goes from the river up to 120. At this time, it's only about, well, right now it's probably a foot deep because the water's high. Normally it's about 6 inches, but so we have been in contact with Pam Altoff. This just happened about a week ago, not even, a couple days ago. And Pam Altoff has contacted the Waterway Agency, and she contacted me 2 days ago saying that they are willing to move forward to get it dredged for us, which is huge for the Riverwalk, for the economic development. I don't even know if Doug kind of knew this yet, but but this is a big opportunity for us to get this done. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm hoping that this spring, summer, we can definitely knock it out of the park, and that development up towards 120 has always been putting a bridge there up part of the Riverwalk, which is the old Pearl Street Bridge, is that right, Doug?
Mm-hmm.
So that way, they can actually enjoy walking along that portion of the creek. So we should be having a meeting within the next week or two to get that facilitated and move forward with that approval per council. So.
Quick question.
Yep.
So dredging, so that'll be navigable that deep, or dredging just to improve the?
Oh no, it'll go down almost 4 feet,
All the way
which
up?
is about what the river is. But yeah, all the way through is what our plan is. We would actually hire a trucking company, outsource it versus using our trucks due to the fact that we don't, versus 6-wheelers using semis. It just would be quicker, and then finally a pit, preferably mire, that would take the actual soils.
I was just gonna say, with that discussion about design build, that's what I've spent the 10 years in construction doing, so if you need any help in reviewing any of that, let me know. I'd be
Okay.
glad to help.
All right, I appreciate that. Sure. Thank you. So as far as the Riverwalk goes, we're hoping in the next week we will sit down again and start moving forward with the process. So it's exciting. I think we'll actually get up to 120 from Miller Dream Marina, or right at what is that, from 120 to Pearl, sorry, it's at 120 now, it would get it to Pearl Street. So that would connect the downtowns versus having to cross Route 120, which is very important. We would even like to get to Weber Park, but with the funds of 800K, we don't know if we're gonna get there, so. But that's where we're at, so.
Well, thank you very much. That is an exciting development. Commissioner Beyond, are there any updates on the Chamber of Commerce?
I'm not sure about the Chamber of Commerce, the Downtown Business Association. Just real quick, the last thing that I mentioned, that they had an issue with the time for the Christmas parade, the Christmas walk. I understand that's been already resolved, right? Okay, so that's good. They were all really excited about the turnout for the Shamrock Fox. From a business perspective, they felt like it was a great turnout and they had a lot of good foot traffic. A couple of suggestions that they were making was they would like to see the alcohol sales start at 9 o'clock in the morning. And I'm sure just to, well, because we know that's why people are coming out, a big part of why people are coming out.
There's that dead part of, the dyeing the river to
Right.
at the parade, that there's that lull of no drinking, I guess. That, like the
On St. Patrick's Day.
on St. Pat, everyone's Irish on St. Patrick's.
Everybody's got motivation to do
Yep.
things, right?
Yep, so.
So that was a recommendation, and let's see, have kids events in Veterans Park. Let's see, more portable bathrooms they asked for. I'm sure there's, so that was some recommendations for that. They talked about the Dino Dash that's coming up on, well, there's a new proposed date of October 6th. That still needs approval from City Council. Let's see what else. For that, Summer Taste is June 2nd, and they will be offering specials that they're getting together. They're going to be cooperating some marketing with local businesses as well. Let's see. Modern Day Romeo's is hosting a fan appreciation at DC Cobb's. So a lot going on there. That was the main stuff. So, yep, that was about it for that.
Perfect. And I guess we kind of jumped over the Chamber of Commerce. Did anybody have anything?
I can report on that on the board. Actually, this Friday is their big spring scramble at the country club. They only had a few spots open, so it may have sold out in the last day or so. So that's one of their big events for the spring. They have, the Chamber's got their golf league that starts up here at the beginning of May. I think they're still taking people for that. Last year that actually filled up. It was the biggest it was in a long time. And then coming into the summer, they'll have all the miscellaneous events, but the big one is Fiesta Days for them.
Thank you. Do we have any updates on the Downtown Super Group?
You can do that.
Yeah, why don't you, since I didn't go today?
Alright, so today we had a meeting here at City Hall with, there was about 20 individuals here, whether it's from, they were from the city or businesses or people that are part of the super group. The first thing that I discussed with them was the fact of communication through the chamber, the DBA, Visit McHenry County. I suggested that we start a commission or a committee. We're still working on that part of it, but so that way we can actually have a formal meeting, get everyone on the same page. If the chamber's doing an event, we don't step on their toes. If the DBA's doing an event, we don't, the other ones don't step on their toes. We all work together. That's been I don't want to say an issue, but it has been an issue in the past that the communication has been lacking. So I think this would be a way that the communication can be uplifted, and I think at the end of the day, whatever's good for McHenry should be good for every one of these groups. And this needs to happen. So Dorothy, when you get back, but in the meantime, Doug and I will be moving forward with that, and I would like to get that to council honestly on the 7th. At least, I'll mention it on Monday, but hopefully we can go to the 7th and at least get their approval to go ahead with the commission. And is that the process that we'd go, Dorothy, you think? I mean, otherwise we won't be able to do it until June, so.
The event.
For
So-
the events committee.
Yeah,
So it'd
we're,
be
we're not sure how it.
That's how we did this.
If it can be a commission, or if it could just be a committee under a commission, we're.
In either way, I think it would be the same thing, we go for approval.
I did an
with the
amendment to the
appointments.
municipal code to create this commission, which is council.
Yeah.
So that would be something that would probably fall under the city administrators,
Which just goes to the
Umbrella?
council either way.
Yeah, so we'll meet with Derek and we'll get that all figured out, but this is, you know, we'll put applications out, through this process, but obviously we wanna make sure that we at least have one person represented from each group. And then at that point, these meetings, you know, for old business would be, one person that would be from the city, so that way you wouldn't have to, or if you wanna be coming to those meetings, but they're during the day. But that, whether it's myself or Doug or Dorothy can give the updates from each of those. Cause all of them should be part of it. Riverwalk Foundation should be part of it as well, actually, so. So, that's all I got for the super group. We are talking about doing signs for the businesses, these are the signs here, for each business down on the Green Street, Riverside, Pearl, and Main, to try to, right? To try to,
Projecting signs.
projecting signs from the building. We're gonna look at different designs as far as oval and rectangle to see if, you know, those would fit better, because there is businesses with awnings, that might not work as well, but we'll see. We're gonna walk to downtown tomorrow to kind of see which ones will work. You know, the cost, you know, to each business would be roughly $200 by the time they do the bracket and the sign and so forth. But I think this is a huge opportunity to really look like a downtown and start, you know, coming together, and that's very positive. We did talk about the St. Patty's Day event. Obviously, the same things that you mentioned is the same things that we got mentioned today at that meeting. But I'm excited. I think the events committee, or, you know, I don't wanna name it that, but come up with something more professional than events committee or commission. So we'll work on that, but, you know, by the time we come to council, we'll have that done.
Okay, thank you very much for that update. Last Landmark Commission meeting was on April 3rd. Unfortunately, wasn't able to attend that. It was spring break. Mayor Jet, did you attend that, or?
No, Landmark?
Landmark, yeah.
No.
No.
I can give a little report. They're doing a study of the Peterson Farm. They hired, the city hired a consultant to look at what the farm could be, what the possibilities could be, kind of a feasibility study. I took part in one of those interviews. The consultant is interviewing various people, and I was interviewed. And, you know, they're just seeking feedback, so they're going through that process, and then she'll complete a report and present it to the city and the city council as to, you know, here's what some other historic farms do, and here's what you could do with your farm. So that's something they're working on.
Okay. And the last on the agenda would be an update on the Planning and Zoning Commission, if there's anything.
We have, and this will be coming up on May 7th, council, we have 2 Speedway gas stations being considered. One will be considered at the northwest corner of Route 120 and Ringwood Road. One will be considered at the southeast corner of Route 31 and Dayton Street. And then we are continuously updating our comprehensive plan. As Dorothy stated, we are proposing a McHenry loop, but we are also updating our future land use map. So it's taken a while, but it's coming along. In the future, we have scheduled Aldi is doing a building expansion, or they have one planned, everyone says where are they expanding to the south. They're expanding about 7,000 square feet, and they're doing a total facade renovation. So that should look really nice, so that's coming up in the future.
Great development. I guess that's it for old business. Next would be our next scheduled meeting. I guess that date is tentatively gonna switch from May 30th to May 29th.
Yep, we'll confirm that.
So we'll keep that as tentative, and then, we'll send out an email and confirm that.
Okay.
Guess if there's nothing else, may I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Can I have a second, please?
Second.
So adjourned.
How you doing?
Just so you know, everyone, this is Alderman.
I get the best part, I get the best portion of the meeting, right?
The end.
You came in at the end of the movie.
You're supposed to bring the beer.
So, okay, it's in the car.
Yeah, this is Alderman
It's going down.
Vixanti, for anyone that has not ever met him.
Robert, I think I
Rob
met
Jessup,
you.
how are you doing?
Pleasure to meet you.
Vic,
You are
Vic, is it?
Marat.
Yeah.
Jason, how are you? And Nick.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Nick,
Thank you.
Pleasure to
Great
meet you.
job.
Eric is moving out of the city, I hear.
Yeah.
Spring Grove.
My neighbor.
Oh, he's your neighbor?
Oh, he's your. It's right around the corner.
He's the big everybody.
He's on Lee Street. Yeah.
He lives on Lee Street?
Yeah. He did